Welcome back to the Blue, Albertson Stadium, home of your Boise State Broncos, the bastion of Bronco Nation, a field of dreams where greatness has become a tradition. Whether you're new to Idaho and this is your first game, or your family has had season tickets for 3 generations, Lithia Ford of Boise wants you to know you're welcome here.
Well, Boise State, welcome on Bronco Nation, Lithia Ford of Boise post-game show. Get your comments in, get your questions in now. What do you think of this one? Looks like the Wi-Fi is not working. Of course, it goes down to one bar right when we're here live. So if I need to head out by the court, I will. But get your questions in, your comments in. Boise State wins this one 62-56, make it 10 wins in a row for the Boise State men's basketball team. We're here in the press conference room. Just got done talking to Coach Rice and Max Rice, actually, Tyson Degenhardt. So get your questions in now. Get your comments in. What do you think? 10 in a row. It's the second kind of game that really was I don't know if I want to say an ugly win, but it wasn't a pretty win, and that's the second game in a row. Does that concern you at all? Let us know what your thoughts are. Again, 62-56. Certainly wasn't Boise State's best game of the season by any means. It looked like maybe their best first, 10 minutes there. They got up to a 22-8 lead and then just kind of let Air Force hang around. Boise State went almost 8 minutes without a point. Air Force gets back in the game, and Leon Rice was saying they were getting a little tired there maybe because they just didn't have much on the bench. You had Pavle Kuzmanovic not available tonight for unknown reasons. You can speculate in this day and age why he might have been out tonight, wasn't even on the bench. You have some other guys that were just in foul trouble. Marcus Shaver had 3 fouls in the first half. You had Emmanuel Acott go out because his Achilles was tightening up a little bit. So they didn't have a lot of guys, and they got worn down a little bit there with what Air Force does. So Boise State only led by 3 at halftime. And then you have Air Force actually take the lead in the second half twice. Air Force took the lead. Boise State at one point led by 13 in the second half. Air Force takes the lead, but Boise State again able to pull it out. The final score 62-56. Boise State now 10 wins in a row. It's the second straight season they've had a 10-game winning streak, and they've only had 4 10-game winning streaks in the history of the school. They've now had 2 of them in back-to-back years. So that's just a huge accomplishment for Boise State, and they got to keep it rolling. We'll talk about it, later in the show, but it's obviously going to get much tougher here moving forward. A really tough stretch here with Utah State on Thursday, and then you've got San Diego State on Saturday. So I want to hear from some Boise State fans tonight. Get your comments in on the Facebook, on the Twitter, on the YouTube channel, wherever you're watching this. What do you make of the 10-game winning streak? Are you concerned with how the last couple of games have gone? Are you just moving on and not worried too much about this game? Is the depth hurt it, a problem for you? Or the free throw shooting? Again, Boise State 19 of 32 from the foul line tonight, missing 13 free throws. It didn't cost them, but it almost did, and may have, and may in a game moving forward. So where are you on the free throws? And just a weird game because Air Force, only scored 56 points, but they shoot better than 50% from the field. Air Force also wins the rebounding battle in this game. So a lot of the stats point to Air Force, and yet Boise State was able to get it done. Ryan asking if Air Force is a quad 3 game. Yes, it's quad 3, and it might even be quad 4 because Air Force is in the 200s at Ken Pom. It's not a great computer game. If you're Boise State, really, you lost one spot in the New Mexico game. You'd like to kind of hold serve. Maybe you only lose 1 or 2 spots in this game at the Ken Pom, and the numbers The computer rankings aren't going to really like a 6-point home win when you were, predicted to win by 19 points. So they may lose a spot or two. You just don't want to see a huge drop in the computer rankings. So if they can hold serve and maybe just lose one or two, they'll be okay because they've got a lot of chances, obviously, coming up for big time wins and to move those computers up. At halftime right now, Utah State is up by 10. Utah State is up 31-21 at halftime at Fresno State, and then they'll travel back tonight, I believe. Boise State will head to Logan tomorrow for a huge test that we'll talk about, I'm sure, moving forward. Nathaniel starts us off, and we're going to hear from Coach Rice in a few minutes. We also have some highlights to show, but we'll get to some of your comments off the bat here. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise post-game show. Ford of Boise, for the Broncos, so make sure you get out there, and whether you're looking to purchase or even sell, they'll buy used cars as well out there. Lithia Ford of Boise, and we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. May not have been the prettiest free throw shooting, but they're a beast on defense. Yeah, I mean, again, they allowed Air Force to shoot better than 50%. Did give up 7 offensive rebounds to Air Force too, but again, you only held them to 56 points, and part of that is because of how slow and how long they take the shot clock all the way down to the end, and so that's just the way they play. But Big Wade saying 6-7 guys in the rotation, Shaver in early foul trouble, free throw shooting 50%. Good win considering. Yeah, got the win. Nice win for Boise State. If you look at it that way, I mean, you're not trying to get a ton of style points at this point. You just want to win the game. You just want to win the game, get to 10 in a row, and obviously, like I said, you're going to have a ton of chances here moving forward. And so you're not really trying to get style points. You're just trying to get wins. That would have been a catastrophic loss, just like the New Mexico game would have been a bad loss the other day. So you survive in advance, and a month from now, nobody's going to remember that you only beat Air Force by 6. Nobody's going to remember that at times you were struggling a little bit with New Mexico or whatever. No one's going to remember anything about this game other than the fact that they won. So you win the game, you move on, and you move on to bigger and tougher opponents. Stetson says, proud of this team. Yeah, there is a lot to like. And again, it wasn't the prettiest game they'll have all year, but certainly wasn't the poorest game they're going to have all year probably either. Eric asking about the attendance. It was listed at 69. Just under 7,000. So it was a nice crowd, just under 7,000, a pretty nice crowd tonight. It was one of the louder crowds they've had. It wasn't I think the Utah Valley game, the home opener, had 7,400. That was the biggest crowd of the season. But you had a good amount of students show up tonight. I thought that was nice to see. And you had, some other things to be encouraged about with the crowd. Still would like to see him open that third deck. If you can split in these next 2 games and you come back to play a Wyoming team that might be ranked in the top 25 next week, you'd like to see a huge crowd next week against Wyoming. The one nice thing about all these road games Boise State's playing, they're going to have a lot of home games coming up in the month of February. So we'll see if the crowds start to pick up as the opponents start to become a little more named. This is a weekday. It's a 7:00 game on a Tuesday night, and it's Air Force. It's not San Diego State. It's not Nevada. It's not UNLV. It's not some of these other teams, Colorado State. It was Air Force. And it was a Tuesday night. So that's just kind of what we've, grown to see around here for a crowd like that. So we have a couple highlights we'll show you. We'll go back and take a look at those. And, this was obviously basket. These are all in the second half as Boise State really started to try to get things going a little bit. It was obviously a tough go for them. This is a nice play, a missed shot. Max Rice comes back in and puts it in. And Max Rice had a couple nice buckets. Here's another one where there's a steal. Emmanuel Acott coming up the court, finds Max Rice for the layup. Another big bucket there for Boise State as they add to the lead a little bit. And, Acott was doing it with the passing, doing it with the shot as well. Huge three-pointer there, put Boise State up. He had 3 shots in the 3 threes in the first half. There he is pumping up the crowd. Did have the Achilles injury, Leon Rice said, but he came back in the game and played pretty well. Thought this was a big play in the game as well. Blocked there by Mladen Armouche. They come down to the other end. Max was feeling it, had a chance for the huge 3. The place was ready to explode. He missed the shot, but how about Tyson Degenhart getting the bucket and the foul? The crowd is pumped up there, and he was pumped up as well. Look at the freshman there pumping up the crowd. So then Boise State needing a couple big buckets. Who do you go to? Marcus Shaver, the nice fake there into the corner, gets the layup. And, he had another foul trouble and had an off night a little bit. But final play there, there's Degenhart again, the freshman. What can you say about him and what he has done for this team? Finished with 19 points, and he played 35 minutes. So they couldn't really afford to take him off the court. 35 minutes, 19 points. I thought he played great tonight. Hit a couple huge buckets there. in the second half. And so, again, you survive in advance. You get to 10 in a row, second time in the last 2 years, obviously, but only the fourth time in program history that you have won 10 games in a row. So very impressive. And again, you just kind of survive in advance and move on tonight. So a big win for Boise State. Keep the comments coming. Don Moe, you're correct on the free throws down the road. Teams that stay at the top are able to make a high percentage. Don, appreciate you watching on Facebook, fine sir, and appreciate the comment. And yes, you did win the game tonight, but you missed 13 free throws, and that's something that could really, really cost you moving forward if you're unable to get those free throws to fall. And cost them in the St. Louis game. They'd be on an 11-game winning streak right now if they hadn't gone, whatever it was, 14 of 30 or something in the St. Louis game. So I think it was 12 of 26, something like that from the line in the St. Louis game. If you just make a couple more of those, we're talking about an 11-game winning streak, not 10. So free throws are going to be huge for this team, and that's certainly a concern moving forward. But after the game, Coach Leon Rice spoke with the media, and here's Coach Rice talking about the win for Boise State.
We accomplished the mission, and you got to have the joy of, I walked in the locker room and yay, we won. No. Yay, we won. We celebrate. Division I games and conference games are really, really hard to win. You're not going to show up, and you make it really, really hard when you don't make free throws. And yeah, I want them to make more, and I know we can, and I know we will. But the beauty of them, they just find ways to win, and they make, like Abu. He steps up and makes those two, ices the game, really. And, that's the beauty of these guys. I mean, Abu runs through a screen, gets a flagrant foul, but guess what? He makes up for it by blocking that shot. I told him, I said, coaching you is like coaching Draymond Green. It's just ups and downs, but he's a winner. And that's the greatest quality. I'll trade that over, making 80% of your free throws and losing any single day. So biggest thing is we accomplished the mission, and it was a hard mission. We had some adversity. We had Shaver and foul trouble. We had E-Man's Achilles was kind of flaring up. And so then Max is cramping up, and, we just had a lot of things. And then, tonight was a night we really, really could have used Pavle, and he's out. So, it shortens the – I mean, that was the kind of game he could have really helped us in. And so that's but it's a so what, now what? And that's the beauty of this team is these games keep coming, and we keep accomplishing the mission somehow. And that's the greatest quality a team can have.
Is Acot's injury, is that just going to be something he's going to be able to work through?
Well, yeah, he's had this before a little bit. It just flared up a little bit, and so it was so it's it's always concerning, but then he rehabs and we'll get it right, and he'll he'll be good to go.
Well, second,
I was just going to say, he wasn't wearing that knee brace, so does that help your Achilles somehow? Is that a new thing? No?
You're asking the wrong guy.
No, the trainer.
No, that's it. You're asking the wrong guy on that one.
second year in a row that you guys have had a double-digit win streak. Just what type of consistency is required to keep winning this long?
It's I don't look at them during the streak. You know what I mean? I just go. It's not coach speak. It's just that we just are head down. And plus, they're coming so fast. It's not like we've been able to pause and reflect. We are, we've got a prep day tomorrow, which we can't run around and do much. So it's got to be an active mental day, and then we got to travel and get down there, and then we play the next day. So there hasn't been any time to pause and reflect what's behind us. These guys have been doing a great job of, so what, now what, what's next on our task, on our list. And that needs, that's something that we talk about a lot and we work on a lot, because, it's easy to say, well, I live in the present, I stay in the present, but unless you're fighting it, unless you're, I told the guys, I haven't had one person, people stop me and ask about the streak, and they stop me and ask about the schedule of what's to come and this and that. Nobody asked me about Air Force, not one person. And we didn't let our team that you saw the way they started. We respected Air Force, and we were humble in our approach to how we had to work, and you saw the way we started. It was great. Now, with the limited rotation, I think they wore us out a little bit in that spin cycle. But that being said, if you make your free throws, you're probably up 12 to 15 in the first half, and that changes a lot of things. But again, we got it back to 12, and a credit to our guys. They accomplished the mission.
Degenhart, the previous 3 games have combined for 20 points. He had 19 tonight.
Oh.
He seemed pretty, inspired. He was, vocal and kind of getting people excited. How did you see him contribute?
And he made some big winning plays too. There was a couple big buckets that I thought were huge. So no, that's when you play winners, that's what you get. And I got a lot of guys that are winners, not just Tyson. You can't do it if you're not putting a lot of winners out there.
You had an 8-minute.
I did it to myself. I muted my mic. Sorry about that. There was Coach Rice. We'll get his full video put up on the site shortly. Moved out here to the court. Hopefully we have some better Wi-Fi now, so apologize if it was spotty earlier. We'll take some more of your comments here as we continue to break this game down. Nathaniel saying hopefully our Moosh can get the free throw shooting dialed in under 40%, near 35% for the season. Not too promising, especially from a talented big man. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the hack-a-shack thing where really you just want to, the teams are going to do that tonight. He was 1 for 6. 1 for 6 from the foul line for Mladen. And, the season numbers are not good. So that's what's going to happen at this point. Teams are going to foul him. And, you'd like to see him make some more free throws, maybe finish some of those buckets too. So he's only having to shoot 1 free throw instead of 2. But that is a concern. And you saw in the second half, they went small. I mean, he only played 22 minutes and Najee Smith played 24. So Najee played more minutes than Mladen. And I think part of that was just how small Air Force was playing. But Mladen being a bigger guy and some of those back cuts and things are a little hard for a big guy like that to hang on to. But, he's got to play. And he's got to be better at the foul line. No doubt about it, Nathaniel, or that's going to be a problem moving forward. Jeff chiming in on the YouTube channel. Appreciate it, Jeff. And hopefully folks will take 5 seconds and go subscribe on YouTube. Really would appreciate it if you could go subscribe on YouTube, subscribe to our channel so you get all of our live videos as well as the press conferences and the other videos that we post to our channel. Just search Bronco Nation News to the YouTube channel and please go on Facebook and Twitter and all the other outlets, Instagram. Hopefully you follow us on all those different things because we have unique content on each one. Looks like the 10 wins in a row tied for 3rd in the country. Davidson, Auburn, and then you had New Mexico State, Loyola, Boise. That is correct, I believe, Jeff, and haven't seen if any of those teams are playing tonight. But, yeah, 3rd longest streak in the nation right now, and it's going to get a lot tougher, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But kind of just to finish the thoughts on this game, we'll talk about Utah State. We'll talk about San Diego State. But, if you have any other comments or thoughts on this game, we'll get to those first. The final number is Boise State finishes the game shooting 48.7% from the field, and that's actually pretty good, 48.7%. Problem is they allowed Air Force to shoot over 50%, 51.2% was the total, and Boise State only took 39 shots in this game because Air Force just takes the clock so down. There weren't nearly as many possessions as there normally are in a game, so it was just a weird game where you didn't have a lot of shots, and Air Force actually does win the rebounding battle 26-24. So I think it's only the 3rd time this season Boise State has been out-rebounded in a game this season. So that certainly isn't something you would have expected coming into this game. Air Force doesn't exactly have a ton of huge guys, but Boise's combination of missing some shots and things did give up 7 offensive rebounds to Air Force. That's not a good number you like to see. But Tyson Degenhart, 19 points for Boise State, goes 8 of 9 from the foul line. I thought it was interesting because late in the game, Boise State was up 2, and Abu Kijab didn't want to give up the ball, and I think Degenhart was open, and you want to give it to him. He was feeling it from the free throw line, but Kijab wanted the ball and kept it, and he hit both free throws and sealed the game to put Boise State up by 4. Kijab was 5 for 8 from the line himself, had 5 rebounds, 9 points, 3 assists. Did have 5 turnovers, though. A little too much dribbling for me for Abu Kijab right now. I think he's dribbling a little too much. Had 5 turnovers. You'd like to see the ball move a little bit, but the ball's sticking a little bit with Abu Kijab, it seems like to me right now, my untrained eye watching courtside. So he does have 5 turnovers in the game. You like to see him maybe move the ball a little quicker and not have it stick so much in his hands. I mentioned Armouche, 5 points and 4 rebounds for him. Only played 22 minutes. Shaver Jr. was dealing with the foul trouble. Obviously, he only had 8 points. One of the few times this year he hasn't scored in double figures. But he, again, was in foul trouble and didn't play a whole lot. Only played 22 minutes. Emmanuel Acott still plays 30 minutes, even though he didn't play a good chunk of the first half. He might have played the whole second half or close to it. He finishes with 12 points, and he had 3 threes in the first part of the game as Boise State built that lead, and then went out with what Coach Rice said was Achilles was kind of flaring up on him a little bit, but he's apparently going to be okay, and hit a big 3 in the second half, as you saw in the highlights we showed earlier. So he finishes with 12 points. And, Max Rice, was trying to play some clips of him. I can't get it to work on short notice, so we'll play some of Max Rice either tomorrow or on the pregame show on Thursday. But, he almost played 30 minutes tonight, and he had 6 points and hit 2 free throws and hit 2 of 3 shots from the field. And the only shot he missed was that three-pointer that would have brought the house down if he had hit it. But, it's been a tough go for Max this year, and he's staying confident and staying with it. And he had 2 huge buckets in the second half, which really helped Boise State kind of build that momentum and build that lead. One of them was a backdoor cut on a great pass from Emmanuel Acott, and then he got an offensive rebound and scored as well. So I thought Max provided some really nice things in this game, had an assist as well, and only had 6 points. But I think Max continues to try to find ways to help this team, and had a couple of huge buckets there in the second half that helped the Broncos. Najee Smith playing 24 minutes off the bench, only had 3 points and 4 rebounds, but I thought he was out there doing some things, really trying to help Boise State play with that smaller lineup to combat what Air Force was doing. How about Nick Jackson? Had 17 points for Air Force. I think he scored like the first 10 points for Air Force in the second half, number 22. He had 17 points and had a great game. Ethan Taylor with 9. You had A.J. Walker with 9 as well. And we had a comment here from Mike saying that some of their Air Force shots were really tough makes, a few deep threes. Credit to them. The defense played pretty well. Free throws kept it close. And, yeah, if Boise State makes 10 more free throws, they win this game by 16, and we're saying it was a really impressive win. So, overall, I agree with that take. And there were a couple deep threes, a couple of those three-pointers, man. You were just like, wow. I mean, what is going on here? There were a couple of really deep ones. And this is what you did not want to happen. Boise State, I just got the numbers updated here, drops 10 spots at KenPom. Boise State drops 10 spots to number 51 at KenPom. So it was a win, but not the prettiest of wins in terms of the computer metrics. And Boise State gives up the 10 spots that they had just gotten back from beating, winning on the road in that Nevada game. So that's not a super encouraging sign for Boise State. They're going to have plenty of chances. You look at their next 4 games. You play number 64, number 33, number 61, and number 62. So 4 quality chances coming up to make those numbers go back up. But at least for the time being, you win a game, you win your 10th in a row, and you drop 10 spots in the computer rankings. But I don't think anybody could see that and say that from a computer metrics, stat standpoint that Boise State played great. They didn't. It wasn't a great game, but they got the win, which ultimately is what matters. But not great to see some of the computer rankings drop. But again, they got a lot of chances coming up to try to pick those up. And the next 4 games, but in particular the next 2, on the road Thursday night in Logan and then Saturday night in San Diego. So 2 tough games coming up for Boise State. Bronco Nation News will be in Logan, and then we will be in San Diego. So where the Broncos go, we go, and hoping to make it to every game the rest of the season. So appreciate your support. Hopefully you are a subscriber. If you were, you got the breaking news earlier today before anybody else sent to your email that Kent Riddle is down as a Boise State football coach. And so we try to get the breaking news sent out to the subscribers first via email before it goes out to the general public. And you get all kinds of exclusive content as well. So hopefully you'll consider a subscription. It's just $6.99 a month, or you can get 2 months free if you pay up front for the whole year. $70 gets you a whole year subscription, which helps fund our road trips and some of the other things we're working on, photos and things like that. Hope you will consider a subscription. Big way to say thanks. Congrats on the award too. Yeah, that was kind of fun. Did find out today that I did win the Idaho Sports Writer of the Year award. Really thankful and honored to win that. A lot of great writers, Ron Counts, Rachel Roberts at the Statesman were the other 2 finalists, and both outstanding writers and good friends. And either both of them would have been very deserving, but I'm very humbled to win the award and thankful, and certainly going to find a spot for on my mantle. So it's kind of a cool deal to win. But both of the other Rachel and Ron were both very deserving as well. So I appreciate that, Big Wade, and someone else did, I think, congratulate me as well, and I appreciate that. But again, Boise State wins this one. We'll have full post-game coverage. I'll have a story up later tonight on the site. We got the message boards going. If you have any comments or questions, appreciate that, Nathaniel. I wouldn't go that far, but I do appreciate the comment there on Facebook. But got the message boards going. Hopefully you'll check out the message boards. We're getting those rolling on BroncoNationNews.com. If you have a comment or a question or want to start a thread on there as well, good way to interact with Boise State fans on the forums page there at BroncoNationNews.com. So we'll get Leon's post game up. We'll get some of the highlights up as well, and the full post game. If you're just joining us, we played a few minutes of it earlier on the show. But we'll get the full post game from Leon out there up on the show, up on the site shortly. And again, we archive all the press conference video. All that stuff gets posted there at BroncoNationNews.com and on the social media channels as well. So we will end this off. It's going to be a quick turnaround. We will see you at the pregame show Thursday evening, around 6:30 or so from Logan before the 7 o'clock game. Boise State getting set to play Utah State. This is the start of 3 games in 5 days. Really tough stretch for Boise State. And again, we'll see what this team is made of. You lose 10 spots in the KenPom rankings, not great, but your next 4 games are all against top 70 KenPom teams, so a chance to move those computers right back up in the right direction. So appreciate everybody for checking out BroncoNationNews.com. Appreciate our title sponsor, RowPaint.com, Power in People, Pride in Painting, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and they got that great deal going on, 10% off right now on your basement or garage concrete coating if you make your appointment and get the work done before the end of January. So just check them out, ROEPaint.com, and tell them that you're looking for the Bronco Nation News deal that you heard them talking about on the show. So thanks so much for everybody for checking this out. Thanks for your support of Bronco Nation News and BroncoNationNews.com, and hope you will consider a subscription if you're not a subscriber already, and so we can continue to bring this exclusive content to you on a daily basis. So we will sign off for now, and again, full coverage, more coverage coming to BroncoNationNews.com later this evening or early Wednesday morning, and we will talk to you next, likely from courtside there in Logan, Utah, the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum, as Boise State gets set for a huge road game at Utah State. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great rest of your night. 10 in a row for the Boise State men's basketball team. They are now 13-4, and they are atop the Mountain West at 4-0 in Mountain West play. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.
Welcome back to the Blue, Albertson Stadium, home of your Boise State Broncos, the bastion of Bronco Nation, a field of dreams where greatness has become a tradition. Whether you're new to Idaho and this is your first game, or your family has had season tickets for 3 generations, Lithia Ford of Boise wants you to know you're welcome here.